I want to ask because you're giving out 5-star matches like they're candy these days. So where in the
10? I only had 10 last year.
There's still a lot.
Which is still too. I know that's too
he's
many.
mad because he's never had a
but
5-star match.
No, that's got nothing to do with it.
And let me tell you what the real problem.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Just want to ask him with this question. Based on all the 5-star matches you get out, 6-star match, everything, the best match to this day that I still have ever seen, and I said it's the standard for just a great professional wrestling match because it was a fight, is Bret Austin WrestleMania 13.
That's one of my favorite matches too.
It is, but where do you put like of all the top 5? Where do you put that match? Like if you've had
it's hard to say because it's hard to say because I've seen fight-like matches in Japan all the time that are very, very fight-like. I mean, if you watch like anything with like Minoru Suzuki, especially when he's at his upper end, those matches look more like fights. But I love the drama of Bret Hart and Steve Austin, that match at WrestleMania. It's I would say in the United States, it's definitely in my top tier for sure. I mean, even worldwide, I think it's the best. It's my favorite WWF match ever. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, a lot of people will say.
Plus, not just that. The great part of it, plus the double turn that even made it better. Not even that.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you look at how good. This is how good Bret and Austin were. If there are two guys today that you can sit there and tell them, hey, we're going to do a double turn in this match. And the finish is going to be, we want you to make it look like you're passing out because you're losing too much blood. How many guys could pull that off? You know what I'm saying? Like
there's a few.
There's Jericho, AJ. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There's a few. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I think that.
But back then there were only a few too. If you sent two average guys out there and go, hey, do a double turn and do that like Powers of Pain and who was it when they did that double turn? Demolition. I remember that match. They did the double turn and everyone was over. Everyone's going, what the hell was that? And like nobody even knew that they turned. Not everyone can do that.
Okay, so let me tell you what the heat is between you and Disco. Here's the heat. He wants to know why so many people, regard your rating system. Mind you, he gets mad. Why does everybody listen to Dave? Mind you, he's the same guy that goes on Rotten Tomatoes and listens to what they have to say about movies. Am I correct?
Well, that is sort of the same thing.
Rotten Tomatoes is a collection of critics, not one guy. I mean, come on. Like, here's my thing.
All right. Well, when you used to wait. When you used to go to Roger Ebert, how many? No, you always start finish. Okay. When you used to go to Roger Ebert as your go-to, how many guys was that?
That was one, but that was my personal opinion of stuff I liked. I wouldn't take it. I wasn't doing like reviewing movies. Okay.
So if there's a guy in the business that's been watching it for like 40 years and actually going to matches, because I remember when we used to do Lucha Libre in Tijuana, he was there sitting watching it. He's a real fan, and then going to Japan. If he's been watching for 40 years or more, whatever, why wouldn't people go to him to find out what his opinion is? Isn't that as valid as Ebert?
Absolutely. Here's my only contention, and this is what I'll say to Dave, and this is why I disagree with some of the stuff. Is I think that sometimes that there's a lack of psychology in some of these a lot of these matches that they review that you overlook. Okay, and that you give people pass because like
only if they. Here's the thing.
Okay, let me give
if the match doesn't get over, it always ends up being hurt by not getting over. See, I don't have like a form. Everyone goes, oh, you like this. No. You know what? I like matches that get over based on the work. It's not like two guys. Like some people go, well, what about Hogan and Rock? And I'm not knocking that match, but Hogan and Rock were over before the bell ever rung. They didn't have to do shit to get over. So that match was going to get a lot of heat. They could have the worst match in history, and it would still get a lot of heat because everybody would forgive them. But if you have two guys that have to earn their heat and get it and keep it, however they do it, it's fine with me. Because I remember like Shawn Michaels, where everyone would go, your matches have no psychology, and you go, but I'm getting bigger reaction than anyone else on the card, and I'm not even getting a push. So it's kind of like, well, that's kind of like how I look at it. If there are two guys who aren't getting a push, I don't care, if they do it and it looks good. I mean, it looks good and it looks believable enough, and the people are buying it. Then that's psychology to me. It's not like, oh, they're like I'll give you an example. This is okay. The Young Bucks are often criticized for having no psychology in their matches, which isn't true. But like true. They did a match what was it, in Sapporo about a week ago. And it was total traditional old psychology with new moves, but it was old psychology, selling injuries and all that. And it was really good, and I gave it a good review and all that. But it didn't have more heat than a lot of their matches that were just boom, 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 boom. And to me, it's like, well, if boom, 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 boom gets the crowd going way more than what my perception of 1980s wrestling was, who am I to say boom, 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 boom is a flawed thing if all the fans are going crazy when it's over and talking about it and going like, I was at a show in Vegas where they did a match where it was boom, 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 and after these people are going up to me, is this the greatest match you've ever seen? And I was like, oh, no, it's not. It's not the greatest match. Oh, it's the greatest match we've ever seen.
But here's the thing where Disco gets mad. He thinks that there's a bias because, number one, the Young Bucks are from California, you're from California, and he also thinks a bias that you overrate their matches because they named a move after you, and then I think they renamed it again. So you give him an extra star based on
that. First of all, well, just let me say.
The thing is that like there was a frickin' song written about why I would never give them a 5-star match until one day I actually did because they had a match in Reseda that was like so frickin' incredible that it was like I couldn't not do it, especially because everyone's in the crowd was like gonna probably like mug me if I didn't because it was such a great match.
It's Hughesy. Hello.
I didn't because it was such a great match. But I mean, everyone's got biases, but I don't. You know, I mean, those guys are super talented. If if they do a match that doesn't get over, then it didn't get over. If their match gets over, it's like I am very open-minded because they work about 5 or 6 different styles, and as long as the style works, I'm fine with it. Where with other people will go, well, if it's not this one style, then it's wrong. It's like I don't have that mentality, and they're always testing new things out. And I don't like everything that they do too, but I think they are phenomenal. So
here's why I think that. I mean, this is why I like them is because they got the charisma part down. The things in between the moves, they figured it out. You know, you entertain people. You know, which is why they're
they're always entertaining live. Yeah,
always entertaining. Yes, because they've got that figured out. Do they do? Here's there's 2 things. Number one is when they had their spat with Daniel Cormier. Okay, you kind of like automatically kind of came to their defense. When they did a spot, which like I would even say, bro, that's not. You can't really defend that. It's like you can't get on people.
That looked exactly like Lucha Libre stuff that I've been watching since I was a kid.
But you can't get on people for thinking that looks silly. I mean, if I think that looks silly, you can't tell me. Well, no.
I was not defending the spot with Daniel Cormier. I was defending the fact that Daniel Cormier had seen a spot and was knocking them, seeing one spot out of context. I know people who watched the Ricochet and Ospreay match, the first one from Korakuen Hall in 2016, and they just freaked out over like one double flip high spot, which is again something right out of Lucha Libre. Not watching the whole match as a whole because the match as a whole was fantastic, and I saw it the same way. And especially Daniel Cormier is a friend of mine, and it was like, dude, it was like watch the whole match, and then whatever conclusion you want to come to, he watched 8 seconds of a match and just was like that, and he didn't. He had the right not to like the 8 seconds, but watch the whole match.
Right, and Dave, let me tell you another thing.
That was my point.
And let me tell you another thing for all the people, and this includes Disco. Well, I don't like Lucha Libre because it doesn't have psychology, and I don't like Lucha Libre because they don't sell. So really what you're telling me is you don't like Lucha Libre because it doesn't look like American wrestling. Because Lucha Libre...
You're putting words in my mouth.
No, you've said that a million times. Do we need to go back and look? Do we need to go back into the shows and bring those up? Because I will.
Here's what I don't like about the Lucha Libre, and that it's kind of infested its way into the product today that we do, is when you do the spots where the 2 guys are blatantly helping each other out do the spots, where there's complete cooperation, and they're not hiding it. I can't stand that.
Like, I'm sure, Dave, you weren't a big fan of the Shibata headbutt, right?
Oh, fuck. I hate it, but yet that match was phenomenal. I can't say that Okada Shibata match was no good because he headbutted him. I mean, it's like the day after. I mean, I remember Brian Alvarez and I were talking, and when we were reviewing it, and we were going like, I mean, it was really, some people thought it was the best match of this year, and I wouldn't argue it. It was among the best matches of this year. But yeah,
that should not be the story of that match, though. You know what I'm saying? The story we should be telling out of that match is like, my God, kids don't do this. The guy almost
don't do this. I hope no one does it. I hate that.
That's what I'm saying. And I watch these guys. And bro, these Omega and Okada, these guys have got to understand that all these guys that have had to retire with neck injuries and everything, that they're compromising their necks a lot out there with these dragon suplexes and stuff and everything. I'm like, I'm just got it. I think there should be more. We should be talking about that more. It's like, well, I don't think we're talking about it enough, bro. I'm like one of the only people.
You're probably right. You're probably right. You're probably right on that. I mean, we talk about it, but should we talk about it more? Yeah.